Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. You know what? I find it incredible the lack of respect and foresight out there from so-called experts about Newcastle and what's going to happen next season. Incredible achievement for Newcastle to hit top four last night with that point against Leicester. But the amount of people, the amount of experts on TV and radio predicting that Newcastle are going to struggle next season because they're going to have to play Champions League football as well. I do wonder where they pluck their ideas from. Some would say from an orifice down below, but the reality is, I don't think they really look at football in a deeper way anymore. It just seems to be, wake up in this mood, Newcastle. I think it's disrespectful. It's like Newcastle or Leicester, and they've overachieved, and they'll just be happy to, they're happy to do that. What you've got to look at with Newcastle is there's a sustainable project here. And it's very much based on the Manchester City model. Now, if I told you it took Manchester City, I think it was 2010, 2011 season, they finished in the top four, they've never left. They've never left. And I've always said this about Newcastle since they got taken over by Saudi Arabia. When they get top four, they'll never leave. Now, admittedly, it is a little bit ahead of schedule. I didn't expect them to get top four this year. I thought next year. I thought this year they'd be like 5th, 6th or 7th. But top four, they've completely deserved it. They're ahead of schedule. Now, when these teams with this type of funding hit the Champions League, that's big tick one. When Man City did it, we never leave. And when Newcastle do it, the plan will be we never leave, because Champions League football gives you that money. They want to spend money, but Champions League football, look, if Man United get Champions League football this summer, it's very different transfer spend to what if you're in the Europa League. It makes a big impact. And when you're Man City and Newcastle, it makes a really big impact, because obviously you're not a club with a massive history of being able to spend lots of money, because you've not been in the Champions League or winning things. So qualifying for the Champions League ahead of schedule for Newcastle is massive, and it opens up the door to do stuff this summer. Man City are the blueprint for what Newcastle are trying to achieve. When you get these pundits on Sky and TalkSport or wherever saying, I don't think Newcastle will get in the top four next year, Liverpool will come back, Chelsea will come back, Man United will come back, what they don't realise is that Newcastle is stronger than all those clubs. Financially, they're stronger, their infrastructure is stronger, and their long-term future is stronger because of the ownership model that they have. They're not playing at this. They have one of the best director of footballs in the Premier League. They took him from Brighton, I think it was. They've got a manager that's not going to suddenly become incompetent. They've got a squad that is still going to make St James's Park a fortress, and they've got a huge amount of money to spend in the summer to add to that squad so that it can compete midweek and at the weekend. It's almost as if people think they've got that Leicester City squad that won the league, and they've overachieved, and now they're just going to fall apart from the demands of Champions League football and the Premier League, and ultimately drop like a stone. I don't think people are looking at it. Manchester City took 2 years to get into the top four, and they never left. Look, I might be completely wrong. People can guess and get things wrong. I think anybody logically thought it many times this season. I thought Liverpool would click into gear and get top four. They did click into gear. They just left it too late. If there was another 3 or 4 games, Liverpool would get top four. They just left it too late. So the minority or the majority that said Liverpool won't get top four, they're sat there going, I told you so, I told you so. But actually, I always said they would, because I think logically you could see that Liverpool would do that. But they didn't. So I could be wrong about Newcastle, but I don't think people are right about Newcastle not getting top four for the right reasons. I think it's lazy. I think it's like, oh yeah, Liverpool will be back, Chelsea will be back, Man United, Arsenal, there'll be no place in the top four for Newcastle. Completely dismissing that Newcastle are the new Man City. Man City have never left the top four since they got it in 2011. And a lot of people said that about Man City then. And look at Man City's first few signings, by the way. That Man City, Newcastle are ahead of Man City in relation to the early years. They can't be ahead of them now. Man City are 15 years into their Abu Dhabi journey. Newcastle are barely 2. But if you look at the first 2 years of Manchester City, they've got Mark Hughes in charge. Is he any better than Eddie Howe? They're buying people like Wayne Bridge, Rocky Santa Cruz. I mean, Robinho was a bloody disaster, wasn't it? Who else did they buy? I wrote some of these down. Craig Bellamy, Jolene Lescott, Adebayor. I mean, Newcastle look, Man City had to do it first, so you're going to make mistakes. I think Newcastle have looked at the way Man City done it, and they're ahead. They're ahead of schedule. Their signings are having more of an impact than Man City's first 10 signings. So they're ahead. and they're in the top four quicker. Man City, it did take a little bit of time, and people sort of laughed at them, going, "Oh, remember when Adebayor ran to the Arsenal fans and slid in front of them?" It was almost a gimmick. But look at Newcastle; they bring in people like Botman, Gomes, even Dan Burn, people like this, Isaac. They've gone from a relegation team last season to top four team this season. That is electric fast progress for Newcastle. And look, I put them in the top four next year. I understand why people say Liverpool will bounce back. I can see that. And Jurgen Klopp has challenged Man City over the last few years. I understand why people say Arsenal will get stronger and they finish second. I get that. I understand why people say Chelsea with Pochettino will bounce back as well. And there's your top four. But I think it's dismissively disrespectful to just go, yeah, Newcastle won't. I suspect, and I'm very excited about this summer transfer window, because not just from a Manchester United point of view. I mean, our summer could be crap if the Glazers stayed, but I'm intrigued by what Newcastle are going to do. And people just seem to continually sleep on Newcastle, like, oh, they've had a great season. They're almost patting them on the back, going, well done, the Leicester of the North, the King of the North, the King Power of the North. You're the King Power of the North. Well done. Nothing, Jon Snow. But they're not the Leicester of the North. They are the richest club in the world, and they can go toe-to-toe with Abu Dhabi. And I think people are looking at that Newcastle team and going, there's no way that can compete with, I don't know why I'm doing Dermot Gallagher, there's no way at the end of the day that they can compete for top four next season. I've looked at it, and I can't see how they do it. So for me, they did get top four this year, but they didn't really, because they won't get it next season. They will. I'm not going to say they will get it, but they are being massively underrated, because people are looking at their team and they're going, Dan Burn, Shaw, Longstaff, Willock. They can't play in the Champions League and play at the weekends. They'll be dropping points all over the place. No, they won't. They will in their current guys, but how quickly did they go from a relegation team to a team that flew up the league? And how brilliant have they been this season? Even in their blip from around Christmas to February, they weren't losing, they weren't scoring, but they weren't losing, they were drawing. Their defence is fantastic. Their midfield probably does need a little bit of investment. Their attack probably needs a bit of investment, and so does their defence. But they've got the money to do it. How much will Newcastle spend this summer? Who are they going to buy this summer? If they keep that squad together and buy 3 top players, well, I think they'll buy more as well. I think they need to buy, if they buy 5 or 6, they've got the squad for it straight away. I think it's going to be a massively interesting Premier League season next season, but I wouldn't be writing Newcastle off. And I think it's just lazy. I think it's lazy punditry. They might end up being right, but they'll be right for the wrong reasons. They'll be right on a guess. They won't be right on a logic that Newcastle are following a trajectory of all the best bits of the Premier League in the last decade. They've looked at Brighton and how they've brought talent through with good recruitment, and they've took their director of football. They look at Man City and how you take a club that's nowhere near winning things with money to being successful, and they're ahead of schedule. And I just don't know why people are sleeping on Newcastle again. I think there's as much chance as Liverpool coming back as there is Newcastle buying 5 or 6 quality players to make them better next season. I think I just wouldn't sleep on Newcastle. And as I've said before, when they get top 4, I don't think they'll ever leave. Don't think there's any reason for them to leave. The only thing I would say, because there's always 2 sides, is at some point you've got to go from Mark Hughes to Pep Guardiola, or from Mark Hughes to Mancini to Pellegrini to Pep Guardiola. Is Eddie Howe Manchester City's Mark Hughes? And to remove him, I suppose there's got to be a drop-off, but we're assuming there would be a drop-off. That's the only thing that might stagnate Newcastle at some point, but I just don't see it. I think they'll get the recruitment right, and I think they'll go up a level again. And I think people are sleeping on them. Get your comments in below. Smash a like on the video. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll speak to you all later.